The Browns are constantly the biggest joke in the NFL, and Cleveland has really solidified that this offseason by trading away Baker Mayfield. Quite literally one of the only bright spots for the Browns in decades for Deshaun Watson, who is now facing a suspension for sexual assault allegations. And might I just say, that's so Browns. Just 4 years ago, Cleveland took Baker Mayfield at the 2018 NFL Draft, and he helped take a Browns team that was 1-31 in 2 years before he got there into a somewhat respectable team. He even won a playoff game in 2020. Yes, he won a playoff game for the Browns, something that hadn't happened since Cleveland became a team again back in 1999. Baker came in and made his NFL debut down 14-0 and led the Browns back to a victory to snap a 19-game winless streak. The Browns ended up going 7-8-1, their best record since 2007. Unfortunately, he regressed, and the next season, Cleveland and Baker struggled. But 2020 proved to be a breakout year. Baker threw 26 touchdowns to only 8 interceptions, and Cleveland went 11-5 and won its first playoff game since 1994. Everything was peachy in Cleveland, until Baker had a down year in 2021. But there is a caveat to that. He played with a partially torn labrum for almost the entire season and eventually had to undergo surgery. Simply put, playing through that injury cost him millions and his job. That's tough. He had a down year, and no, he was never going to be as talented as Deshaun Watson. But what if he was healthy? I mean, I have to imagine that he's still the Browns' starting quarterback. And let's not forget, in his first 3 seasons in Cleveland, Baker had 4 different head coaches. Hugh Jackson when he got there, Greg Williams as the interim after Hugh Jackson got fired, Freddie Kitchens in 2019, and finally, Kevin Stefanski. Baker didn't have an easy road in Cleveland, but he still made it work at times. Look, I can't argue that Watson isn't a transcendent talent who may dominate the league for years to come, at least if he's allowed to play. Since he was drafted back at the 2017 NFL Draft by Houston, he's led the league in passing yards, been named to the Pro Bowl 3 times, and owns a shit ton of different NFL records. And it's hard to blame the Texans for trading him away. Houston got an absolute haul in exchange for Watson. Plus, they got rid of one hell of a headache. The Texans traded Watson and a 6th for 3 first-round picks. Yes, 3, a 3rd-round pick and 2 4th-round picks. Like I said, they got an absolute haul. Now, Deshaun Watson originally requested a trade, but I think it's safe to say that the Texans didn't want him there anyways after his off-the-field issues. I mean, it's no secret that a bunch of women have accused him of sexual assault. And you know what? I'm not even going to say the number of cases right now, because every time we do talk about it, it just seems to keep going up. A lot of the allegations ended up going to a jury to potentially charge him criminally, but the jury decided to not indict him. Here's the thing though. It doesn't really matter what happens at the legal level with Watson though. The NFL can still do whatever they want, and it sounds like he'll be looking at a few months, at least according to the current reports. With the trade came a shiny, very expensive new contract. The contract broken down looks a bit interesting though. For 4 years of the deal, Watson is paid $46 million a year, but not year 1. Instead, he got a $45 million signing bonus. So his base salary in 2022 is just $1 million. So why is that? Well, just in case he gets suspended. So at least while the Browns were doing something stupid, they were trying to cover their ass and be smart. Unfortunately, by trading for Deshaun Watson, it was clear that the Browns had lost every ounce of leverage in a Baker Mayfield trade, which is why Cleveland only got a conditional 5th round from the Panthers. Also, the pick isn't even for next year. It's literally 2 years away, but depending on what Baker does in Carolina, it could turn into a 4th. The Panthers are only paying $4.85 million of his salary. The Browns will have to pay the other $10.5 million, and Baker agreed to convert the other $18.8 million of his contract into incentives to push the deal through. Clearly, the Browns had absolutely no leverage in the situation. They only got a 5th round pick and had to eat most of his salary. And honestly, it wasn't due to a lack of value of Baker either. It more so came down to everyone in the league knowing that the Browns had to trade Baker because of Deshaun Watson and knowing that the bridge had been burnt with Baker Mayfield. There were even reports that Baker had been frustrated with the Browns his entire career, which, might I add, is totally fair. But most importantly, was angry that they didn't tell him they were meeting with Watson. Baker eventually requested a trade after it was reported that a Browns source said the team wanted an adult at the quarterback position. That's just an absolutely hilarious thing to say if your ultimate goal is to trade for a guy in the middle of a legal battle because he has 22 sexual assault allegations. Yeah, Cleveland, that's a real adult. Now, Cleveland has to go down to Carolina in week 1 and play Baker Mayfield, likely with Jacoby Brissett having to start because their adult at the position is suspended. Not exactly how the Browns want to start 2022. The Patriots drafted Jacoby Brissett back at the 2016 NFL draft in the 3rd round, 91st overall. He ended up starting 2 games as a rookie, mainly because Tom Brady was suspended and then Jimmy Garoppolo got hurt. So, New England didn't exactly have any other options. In week 3, Brissett won against the Texans, but lost the following week to the Bills and ended up injuring his thumb and needing surgery. Despite literally starting in 2 games as a rookie, Brissett didn't really do shit. He finished the year with no touchdowns and no interceptions through the air. Brissett did get a ring though, and then the Patriots traded him to the Colts straight up for Philip Dorsett after Andrew Luck got hurt. Brissett ended up starting and Indianapolis sucked. Like, really sucked. He was 4-11 as a starter and threw for over 3,000 yards, 13 touchdowns, and 7 interceptions. He also got sacked like 52 times, which led the league. Just a reminder at how bad that Colts offensive line was that quite literally ended Andrew Luck's career. Brissett didn't play in 2018 really because Luck did come back, and he wasn't supposed to start in 2019, but then Luck retired out of nowhere, and he ended up playing and having a goodish season. He had almost 3,000 yards, threw 18 touchdowns and 6 interceptions. But more importantly, the Colts were solid, and he went 7-8. Brissett played fine, but not good enough. So Indy traded for Carson Wentz, and Brissett was a backup again. He signed a 1-year deal with the Dolphins for 2021, and ended up starting 5 games while Tua Tagovailoa was hurt. Brissett went 2-3 and threw 5 touchdowns to 4 interceptions. Then, this offseason, he signed a 1-year deal with the Browns. The Browns did, however, make another splash in free agency, a little more exciting than Jacoby Brissett, I would say, and that was trading for Amari Cooper. Cooper has gone for over 1,000 yards 4 times in his career and was once an absolute stud for the Raiders before he was traded to Dallas in 2018. He's a 4-time Pro Bowler and a big-name wideout that at the very least will sell some jerseys. Now, Cooper gets to play alongside, I guess, Donovan Peoples-Jones is the 2nd best wide receiver on the Browns. Yeah, not great. Luckily, the running back room is stacked. Nick Chubb is an absolute monster, and Kareem Hunt is really good too. The Browns also signed tight end David Njoku to a 4-year, $56.75 million extension. Put all of that together with one of the best offensive lines in the league. Jedrick Wills, the Browns' 1st-round pick in 2020, is a big one. And they also have Wyatt Teller, one of the best guards in the NFL. But who really knows whether either one of them will actually be blocking for Deshaun Watson? Now, I don't mean to sound rude because Cleveland fans, you've been through enough in the past 20 years, but I gotta say, this is kind of hilarious. If this doesn't work out, the Browns' future is completely destroyed. Now, their immediate future is bright, if Watson works out. But if he doesn't hang around in Cleveland, or he just isn't good, the Browns franchise is going to be miserable for years. They gave up 5 total picks and don't have a 1st-round selection for 3 years. Everybody knows just how valuable a 1st-rounder is, and to not have one for 3 years can be detrimental. Crazy thing is, that wouldn't even be the worst part if Deshaun didn't work out. It would be the potential dead cap. Try $55 million a year for 4 years. Yeah, that is straight up insanity, and that's exactly what the Browns will be left with if this doesn't work out. The Browns are mortgaging their entire future on Deshaun Watson. So either this works, or Cleveland is screwed for years to come.